August 1. My dear Varvara Alexeyevna, you are glad, my dear girl, that God has sent you a chance to do one good turn for another and show your gratitude to me. I believe that, Varenka, and I believe in the goodness of your angelic heart, and I am not saying it to reproach you. Only do not upbraid me for being a spendthrift in my old age. Well, if I have done wrong, there's no help for it. Only to hear it from you, my dear, is very bitter. Don't be angry with me for saying so. My heart's all one ache. Poor people are touchy. That's in the nature of things. I felt that even in the past. The poor man is exacting. He takes a different view of God's world and looks askance at every passer-by and turns a troubled gaze about him and looks to every word, wondering whether people are not talking about him, whether they are saying that he is so ugly, speculating about what he would feel exactly, what he would be on this side, and what he would be on that side. And everyone knows, Varenka, that a poor man is worse than a rag and can get no respect from anyone. Whatever they may write, those scribblers, it will always be the same with the poor man as it has been. And why will it always be as it has been? Because to their thinking the poor man must be turned inside out. He must have no privacy, no pride whatever. Emelian told me the other day that they got up a subscription for him and made a sort of official inspection over every sixpence. They thought that they were giving him his sixpences for nothing, but they were not. They were paid for them by showing them he was a poor man. Nowadays, my dear soul, benevolence is practiced in a very queer way, and perhaps it always has been so. Who knows? Either people don't know how to do it, or they are first-rate hands at it, one of the two. Perhaps you did not know it, so there it is for you. On anything else we can say nothing, but on this subject we are authorities. And how is it a poor man knows all this and thinks of it all like this? Why? From experience, because he knows, for instance, that there is a gentleman at his side who is going somewhere to a restaurant and saying to himself, "What's this beggarly clerk going to eat today? I'm going to eat sauté popilotte, while he is going to eat porridge without butter, maybe. And what business is it to him that I am going to eat porridge without butter?" There are men, Varenka, there are men who think of nothing else, and they go about, the indecent caricaturists, and look whether one puts one's whole foot down on the pavement or walks on tiptoe. They notice that such a clerk of such a department, a titular councillor, has his bare toes sticking out of his boot, that he has holes in his elbow, and then they sit down at home and describe it all and publish such rubbish. And what business is it of yours, sir, if my elbows are in holes? Yes, if you will excuse me the coarse expression, Varenka, I will tell you that the poor man has the same sort of modesty on that score as you, for instance, have maidenly modesty. Why, you wouldn't divest yourself of your clothing before everyone. Forgive my coarse comparison. So, in the same way, the poor man does not like people to peep into his poor hole and wonder about his domestic arrangements. So what need was there to join in insulting me, Varenka, with the enemies who are attacking an honest man's honor and reputation? And in the office today I sat like a hen, like a plucked sparrow, so that I almost turned with shame at myself. I was ashamed, Varenka, and one is naturally timid when one's elbows are seeing daylight through one's sleeves and one's buttons are hanging on threads. And as ill luck would have it, all my things were in such disorder. You can't help losing heart. Why, Stepan Karlovitch himself began speaking to me about my work today. He talked and talked away and added, as though unawares, "Well, really, Makar Alexievitch," and did not say what was in his mind, only I understood what it was for myself, and blushed so that even the bald patch on my head was crimson. It was really only a trifle, but still it made me uneasy and aroused bitter reflections. If only they have heard nothing! Ah, God forbid that they should hear about anything! I confess I do suspect one man. I suspect him very much. Why, these villains stick at nothing. They will betray me. They will give away one's whole private life for a halfpenny. Nothing is sacred to them. I know now whose doing it is. It is Rataziev's doing. He knows someone in our office, and most likely in the course of conversation has told them the whole story with additions. Or maybe he has told the story in his own office, and it has crept out and crept into our office. In our lodging, they all know it down to the lowest, and point out your window. I know that they do point. When I went to dinner with you yesterday, they all poked their heads out of window, and the landlady said, "Look," said she, "the devil has made friends with the baby." And then she called you an unseemly name. But all that's nothing beside Rataziev's disgusting design to put you and me into his writing, and to describe us in a cunning satire. He spoke of this himself, and friendly fellow lodgers have repeated it to me. I can think of nothing else, my darling, and don't know what to decide to do. There is no concealing the fact. We have provoked the wrath of God, little angel. You meant to send me a book, my good friend, to relieve my dullness. What is the use of a book, my love? What is the good of it? It's arrant nonsense. The story is nonsense, and it is written as nonsense, just for idle people to read. Trust me, my dear soul, trust the experience of my age. And what if they talk to you of some Shakespeare, saying, "You see that Shakespeare wrote literature"? Well, then, Shakespeare is nonsense. It's all arrant nonsense, and only written to jeer at folk. Yours, Makar.